Hi guys, it's Nadine. So I wanted to share with you guys this life wheel. Now, initially when I read the book The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, he talks about this thing called level 10 life, which basically is you scoring yourself in different areas of your life from 1 to 10. 1 meaning it's not that great, 10 meaning it's pretty perfect. And by looking at that, you can see what in your life or what areas in your life you feel like needs improvement. Heaven knows we all need improvement. So every year at the beginning of the year, I do a overview of where my life is at this point, and then also what I feel like needs improvement. I don't always put it in my planner though. In the past, I've done it in my regular journal. So my personal private journal, that's where I have it in. But recently I thought, hey, you know what? It's a good thing to kind of have it in my planner, because then I can kind of reference back to it to see if I'm following or if I'm improving or whatever the case may be, you know? And I apologize, Stitch is over there barking at who knows what, probably a squirrel in the yard. I have it down twice. The first time was in my initial planner bullet journaling setup system that I showed in my previous video, which I will link up here, and then I redid it in my arc. I see some changes in here because when I initially did it, I feel like some things actually wasn't going as I had planned, and you'll see what I mean by that in a second. So I prefer to call this my life wheel. What it is just a circle. I tend to love circles more than I love hard edge squares and whatnot. Use this instead. All I did was I drew a circle. Now here's the thing, I initially used this, and this is something that I had from high school. This thing is over 20 years old. This is what I had for my drafting class. So I used this to make the circles. I found that sometimes this is not always that great. Sometimes this can be a little bit frustrating because when you turn the arc, it doesn't really work as well. So then I found this on Amazon, and I will link for this below. This thing is great. I love this thing. It's easy to make circles, and also when you're making the insides of these things, they already have them measured out. So all you do is just move your little pencil along, and then you move it around, and it just it works out wonderfully. Plus, it also already divides it up. So as you can see, I already know, okay, a line goes here and a line goes there, and I'm solid, okay? So it's really good for that. I prefer this over anything else that I have. I bought a stencil from Etsy from a seller. I will link her below too. I found her stencil, while it looks like a great idea and it's pretty ingenious upon first looking at it, it just didn't work as well as I had thought. And this is what it looks like. So basically with this, and this is by Moxie Dory, you stick a little pointy thing, I call this my pointy thing, in the center like that. Then you take your pencil and you figure out where you want your diameter of your circle to be. You mark it, and then it's supposed to go around like that, and it's sometimes work and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it goes off track. So maybe it's user error, I don't know. But for me, it just doesn't work out. However, I do feel like this is a great idea because, as you can see, it already has the segments in here along with these little cutouts so that you can already dissect your circles evenly. So, I mean, I like the idea of this. I just can't seem to get it to work properly. But again, it might be user error. Who the heck knows? That's maybe that's a thing, you know, it's a thing with me, user error. It's the story of my life. The beauty of this life wheel is you can set it up however way you want. It's a circle, you segment your circles however you want, increments of 2 or 1 through 10, however you feel it works for you. What I did was I figured out what part of my life do I think is important, and then I wrote it down here. So let's take a closer look at this, okay? So for me, important things are mind, body, soul, creativity, marriage, family, friends, and then career and money. Now when I did it this way, this was like my initial layout. As you see, when I did it this way, it kind of changed because I felt like I wanted to lay it out the way that I felt was important. So to me, my first thing was going to go up here. So mind, body, soul, that's my priority. And some of you might be like, well, that's kind of selfish. Well, you know what? I don't really care, because if you can't take care of yourself first, you can't take care of anybody else. So there you have that. Next is important to me is my marriage. Then comes my family, and then my friends, and then my career and money. Career and money is always last because while that does help things to go a little bit smoother, it's not my priority. My career doesn't fulfill me, nor does money. It's not, doesn't make me happy. It makes things easier, but these things right here, these things are important to me. Said and done, these are my priorities: myself, my husband, my family, and my friends. And then lastly is creativity. And I know this part right here, this is a difficult one. And you can see that I suck at it, okay? I also suck at doing my mind things. And basically what that means is that taking some time to learn different things, to fill your mind, to fuel your mind. I need to make better time for something like that. I love learning. I love learning. I can soak up things like nobody's business. Now, whether or not I remember it, that's a whole nother thing, but I love learning. So I had some ideas on what I needed to do. And as you can see, one thing here says weekly learning, implement knowledge. Yeah, I'm not really doing that. Also, creativity. I had planned on doing Project Life every single Sunday. That hasn't happened. And I find that when it doesn't happen, I feel ungrounded, like I'm missing something. When I don't express my creative side, I feel like I'm stifled, if that makes any sense to anybody. My body part, and that means exercise. I've been doing wonderful in that. I exercise 5 times a week. I do Pilates 3 times a week, and I do HIIT twice. My soul part, I feel like I've been really good with that, tending to my soul, listening to what I need, what I don't need, cutting out things that are no longer serving me, things and people, as a matter of fact. When I talk about soul, what I mean is like my spiritual side, my side that connects me with something that is greater than myself. I feel like I have a great sense of this, and I feel like I've been working very hard to continue to have a great relationship. Some of you may call it God, some may call it universe, whatever the case may be. Some of you are religious, some of you are not. For me, this is an important part, and I tell you what, it hasn't always been an important part in my life, but I feel like I have to make this first in order for everything else to work out. So this has been a really good thing. I take time to, whether it's do Bible study or read a book about something that fuels my soul, I will do that too, so that I can stay connected to the universe or to God or whatever else you guys want to call it. I call it God, but you know, there's that. And then my marriage, I feel like we've been doing really good. And I'm going to tell you the things that I focus on in my marriage. And you might think this is crazy, but for me, it's important because these are the things that I know needs improvement. For instance, I need to be nice and I need to speak sweetly. These 2 things I don't really do, honest to God. When I feel a lot of stress or I feel overwhelmed, my husband is the first one that takes the blow. And it's not that I'm mean to him, but I just don't cater to him like I do when I'm in a really good place. And so I feel bad about that. So I have to make sure that I keep myself in check. And I always treat him well because he treats me well. And it has to be reciprocated, because if it's not, then somebody starts to feel like they're left out or they're taken for granted. And then there comes some resentment, because I know that that's how I would feel if the tables were turned. So I make that a point to do better. And I try to catch myself when I feel myself slipping down that little spiral of like annoyed. Then to speak sweetly. I have a tendency of just being very frank, and sometimes that's not always good. I need to temper how I say things, but still being true to myself. So staying honest, being honest, but being careful about how I say things, because there's always a way to say things without being hurtful. And it's not that I am hurtful, but sometimes I can be a wise ass, and that's not good sometimes. And so, yeah. And then date night once a week. This is important. So a weekend date night is a must. And I really, for those of you out there that are in relationships, whether you're married or whatever, have a date night. It does wonders for you. Now, in the beginning, if you haven't done a date night in a while, it's going to be awkward. I'm not going to lie, because I remember when we first started doing date nights, it was awkward AF. We would sit at the table and I didn't have anything to say. Neither did he. And the only common ground we had at one point was our kids. And then we had to figure out, okay, hold on a second. Let's get back to this. Let's talk about other things other than our kids and other than stresses. Let's have fun again. And we did. And it's been helping. And it's wonderful. Here's the thing about the marriage thing. Why I feel like it's important for me to work out is because my marriage is my foundation. And when my foundation is off, I don't feel right about everything else. And then I cannot give to everything else. And so it's a priority. Okay. The next is my family. And I feel like I'm pretty strong in my family too. And when I say my family, I mean my kids, my mom and my sister, and my dad. because that's my immediate family. My husband comes in here too, so he kind of overlaps in this. So what I do for this, we have Sunday dinners, which is a sit-down dinner. Everybody kind of reconnects. We try to have dinner together during the week. Sometimes it's virtually impossible. Everybody's eating at different times. But we try, but Sundays is a big thing. Or at least go out and have dinner all together once a week. We try to do that. And then mommy and me time. I feel like once a month, it's really healthy for me to spend one-on-one time with one of my kids individually so that they get time. They get what they need from mommy. I can reconnect with them. They can tell me whatever it is that they cannot tell me when they're around their siblings or around their daddy. I try to make this a priority as well. And I think I've been doing pretty good because my kids are pretty good kids, I have to say. Knock on wood. I'm fortunate about that. And my thing about my kids is that my goal for them is that when I leave this place, I want them to be self-sufficient, but I want them to be good-hearted human beings that can contribute back to society along with taking care of themselves. That's my goal. That's why I'm here. That's what I need to do for them because they are a gift. They belong to me in a way, but not really. I'm here to take care of them, and so I'm doing the best that I possibly can to take care of them and raise them right, so that way when it's their time to go forward, they can do so and do so well. Okay, next, let's talk about friends. So as you can see, this part is lacking too, and it's because it has been a little difficult for me to stay connected with them. I've been getting better, so I can actually maybe color in one more bar, I think. That's the thing. A lot of my girlfriends live all over the place. I do have different groups of friends here where I live, and that's great because I see them often, and those are good. But the ones that have been longtime friends with me, I can only text them. What I need to do and what I want to do is I want to make time to actually meet up with my other girlfriends that live farther away at least once a year. So that needs to be worked out. Me and my girlfriends that are here, we try to do girls' night out once every couple of weeks. And if you watch my Snapchat, we have been, and that's been awesome, but I could use improvement. So now here, under career and money, I just need to, here my goal is this year is to just save a lot more for my business side, and that's it. I mean, that's, not that big of a deal, but this is what a life wheel is. Now here's the thing, if you guys do not want to draw your own circles, what I did was I designed a circle template that you can find over at my blog, and what you can do is you can either cut it out, or if you have a silhouette, you can cut it out as a sticker and then stick it in your planner. So either way, you can use it and not have to be bothered with doing this, because this is kind of a pain to draw and redraw and redraw and redraw every time or whatever. But not that you have to, because I only do it once a year. But this is my life wheel, and if this interests you, maybe you guys want to try the same thing. And if you want to try the freebie, I'll link for that in the description box below so that you guys can go snag it for yourself. I hope this was helpful. And if you have other ideas or things that you think might help me, or you want to share with me ideas, suggestions, whatever, comments, leave them below and I'll be glad to look them over and consider them. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you know when my next video goes up. Tomorrow I will be back to share a different part of my bullet journaling system with you guys in depth, so stay tuned for that. I'll talk to you guys later. TTFN, ta-ta for now.